Hello, my name is Johnny Stork and it's April the 12th, 2012, and I'd like to share with you a story of profound compassion and forgiveness, the likes of which I've rarely experienced, if at all, ever since. It was February the 22nd, I believe, 1977. I was 16. I'd been on my own for about 6 months or 3 months. And I was driving my 1968 Sports Satellite with 3 friends in the car. It was about quarter after 11 at night. We were just leaving Cypress Bowl in North Vancouver, and I was heading to drop them all off so I can start my graveyard shift at the gas station that I worked at. I hadn't been drinking and I wasn't stoned or anything, and these were not really close friends, just people that I'd met recently, and there was a fellow behind me in the back seat, his girlfriend, and another young girl in the front seat next to me. She wasn't my girlfriend. And we were heading along Frederick Road in Lynn Valley, which crosses Mountain Highway, which is a very steep hill. There's a stop sign that crosses Mountain Highway on Frederick, but not on Mountain Highway as it crosses Frederick. So the cars coming down the hill go quite fast. So I was heading up to this intersection, and I remember leaning over and asking everybody in the car, does anybody see a stop sign? Everybody said no, and in my immature, ignorant brain of 16 years old, I just decided it would be a cool thing to run the stop sign. So I stepped on the gas and went through that stop sign at about 65 or 70 miles an hour. Unfortunately, there was a yellow taxi cab coming down the hill, and I hit him on the driver's door at 65 or 70 miles an hour. With such impact, it rolled our cars over, my car over top of his. Both of us went sliding through this big iron fence and wiped out a tree and came to rest in the yard of this home. Obviously, I lost consciousness. My face hit the steering wheel and caved it in completely. I don't think anybody else in my car was injured. And when I woke up, when I came to, I was being slumped over the hood of a car. I could tell it was metal and it was warm. And I lost consciousness, and then when I woke up again, I noticed that the hood of the car was blue, meaning it was probably a police car. And I then noticed that there was red and black coagulated blood all over the hood of the car. There was only little spots of blue off to the edge, and my face was sticking to it. And I think I must have lost consciousness again. And when I woke up next, I was in the ambulance on a stretcher, and I could see all the flashing lights outside and a lot of commotion and some engines running like a power saw or a chainsaw or something, which I learned later was probably the jaws of life needed to extract this elderly man in his 60s, European, possibly Polish man who was driving this taxi cab. Well, obviously with the impact of hitting him on the side of his body with such force, just smashed everything to pieces on this side of his body, broke ribs, punctured his lung, punctured his kidneys, I believe, and broken arms, shoulders, legs, everything down that side of his body. So by the time they wheeled him into the ambulance on the stretcher next to me, he was having trouble breathing with the punctured lung. And in broken English, blood and fluids obviously in his lungs, I could hear him trying to breathe and repeating over and over, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God," with a gurgling, bubbling sound. That sound is still with me today, and I remember feeling so horrified, so disgusted, so ashamed. I remember trying to will myself to die. I couldn't believe I had done this to another human being. I remember trying to picture my heart and imagining it stopping. I remember trying to hold my breath, but obviously I didn't succeed, and eventually I healed, and I had various bones broken in my face and jaw and nose, etc. The story isn't about me. The story is about this old man that I nearly killed. At the time, I also had only $75,000 third-person liability insurance, and so I was also being sued for $250,000. So for nearly a year, all I could really think about was this lawsuit, how I'd pay it, and what would happen when I went to trial. I don't remember the exact charges, but I know that dangerous driving was one of them. And although I remember having incredible feelings of regret and shame and wanting to apologize to this man, I certainly wasn't mature enough at the time. I didn't have the courage to do so. But on December the 13th of that same year, 1977, I believe there was 3 days set aside in North Vancouver provincial courts for my trial. And I don't recall all the details of what took place in the first few days, but the last day was quite memorable. It was December 13th, we're getting close to Christmas. There's a female judge. On the last day, this old man, whom I nearly killed, came limping into court with assistance and a cane. And he asked in broken English, I think he was Polish, he asked if he could address the court. He slowly and painfully but deliberately moved through this swinging door to get out in front of the judge, and he stood in front of her. And these are, to the best of my memory, nearly his exact words. He said, "Your Honor, it's nearly Christmas. I'm going to die soon. I'm an old man. This young man has his whole future ahead of him. This young man," his exact words, "this young man made a boo-boo, Your Honor. What you decide today will affect him for the rest of his life. Your Honor, I plead with you to be lenient and to consider this young man's future when you make your decision today. I nearly killed this old man. I never even had the courage or the respect to apologize to him in all this time. He lost his cab company, he lost his trailer park company which he'd managed. And his only words, his only wish was to forgive me and to beg the courts to be lenient on me. There wasn't a dry eye in the court. I believe it was that story, that his compassion and forgiveness of me. It was that story which made it to I think the front page, or at least all of the papers in Vancouver at the time. Afterwards, there was, I do recall, I still had the charge of dangerous driving, and I believe I had community hours to do, but the lawsuit also disappeared. But that day changed my life. That day, that old man showed me the level of compassion and forgiveness that was possible in a human being, the likes of which I have never seen since. And I recall I changed my life that day as well, although it's still an evolving process. His profound example of forgiveness and compassion set the wheels in motion for me to continue on a similar journey, to become the most compassionate man I could possibly become, and I thank him for that. Thank you.